All right, guys, welcome in. Welcome to another episode of TigerBait Live. Going solo tonight. Buddy Sanji's taking some vacation time. And I think we're probably going to do a lot of recruiting talk tonight. Been out at LSU football camps, offensive line camp, DL camp on Friday, skills camp on Sunday. Got 7-on-7 this Friday, and then 2 days of elite camp at the end of next week. So Arch Manning coming on Friday with his Newman team. And a lot of scholarship offers being extended, majority of them class of 2024. We can talk about all of that, and I'm going to do my best to get to as many of your questions as we can tonight. And, of course, we're brought to you each and every week by Pride Roofing, the official roofing company of TigerBait.com. And we can't do it without them each and every week. Mike Faraday, Alex Martinez. And please do me a favor, hit the like button, share. If you're watching us on YouTube, hit the subscription button and the notification bell. We're approaching football season, and we've got plans to really explode our YouTube and our Facebook channel with new video offerings in the way that we're doing things. Just place an order for more video equipment. So we're expanding things here in a big way at TigerBait.com, and we've had a fantastic week of new subscribers in the last couple of weeks, to say the least, and we're glad a lot of you are joining us to be a part of our TigerBait.com premium community. Our Tiger Den premium message board has a lot of great posters, and we love to have you there. I'm there day and night answering questions, mingling with all the subscribers. So we'd love to have you with us. You can try us out for $1 on TigerBait, and you get everything, the entire site. So a lot to discuss tonight. Ed O. Got the crab, says, let's go. He says, Mike's great. Hope Buddy's not on a date night. Yeah, he is doing a date night. In fact, he's doing date nights all week. I think he even said he's going to see Top Gun tomorrow afternoon. So I don't even know that he's even aware of. I can't tell you the last time Buddy Saunders has been in a movie theater, but it looks like Top Gun's resurrecting the movie theater business, because everybody I know has gone out and seen it, and I've seen it first night, and I highly recommend it to all of y'all if you haven't. Mike Sutherland, Buddy must be on Destin Beach hanging out with the ladies. No, but he is having a bit of a staycation here in town, and I think he's lining up things each and every day to take some time off. He said he didn't want to come in tonight because the only thing he would have to talk about is to be negative about the LSU baseball team, and I know a lot of people are just wondering, what is Jay Johnson going to do here this summer, and what is the over-under on the roster of those kids that could be back and have eligibility left that won't be back? That number looks like it could be right in the middle of the teens. And so I think, obviously, he's got a top-notch recruiting class. Usually about half of those will end up going pro. The other half will end up on campus. But Jay Johnson has got a ton of work to do in the transfer portal. And I said today, I really think we're probably going to see a couple of months here with Jay Johnson. They're going to be very close to what we saw from Coach McMahon, where we were all punch drunk with all the fantastic talent he was getting commitments and signings from back in the month of May. So we're going to see how that all pans out. Nurse Court is in the house. Glad to have you with us. Hey, Mike, where's my friend? Yeah, Buddy's taking a night off. We'll see when we get him back, probably next week. American Patriot, always one of our best folks here in our YouTube live with a Go Tigers. Obi-Wan Danny Girl, when was the last time? Was his last time in the movies in a black and white? Oh man, in a black and white silent film. Just kidding. We love Buddy. He was probably seeing. It was probably at the Broadmoor Theater. Ed O got the crabs. Mike, you like Maverick, and Buddy is like Goose. Yeah. Guys, we're going to get to a lot of your questions tonight, so don't be afraid. And please do me a favor. Share this to your Facebook page, Twitter, your Twitter handle, Facebook groups, your own social media. Really helps us with the algorithm when you share and hit the like button. If you're watching us on Facebook, same thing applies. Like I say each and every week, I do think you get a better experience on YouTube. But Facebook, we're simulcasting to both at the same time each and every week. So Friday's OLDL camp, and I think probably similar statements can be said for the Sunday skills camp. I think there was some names there, not a whole lot. Brett Bordelon, Bo's little brother, who's got an offer. I think he looked fantastic. He's getting bigger. I think he's probably right around 250 right now. Good 6'4". I think he's going to be absolutely special. Had a chance to see the offensive lineman from Natchitoches Central that I've been real curious about. It's not often that I get to see Natchitoches Central in action, but Tyler Johnson I thought looked very athletic. But I think he is very much a work in progress. You're talking about a 6'5", 300-pound guy that looks like he carries his weight so well. He looks like he's about 270, and but I think he's one that I watched Coach Brad Davis work him out, give him extra reps. He was really on him and giving him a thorough workout. He's one of those mid-major guys that maybe he doesn't end up at LSU, but he ends up at a mid-major, and then maybe in a couple of years, once he's developed, he's a transfer portal kid that comes back to LSU once he's first team all conference in a lower league. But that really was about it. The defensive lineman from U High that Preston did a story about today that got an offer on Friday. I think Lamar Brown looks special for Andy Martin and his team. Check out that story on TigerBait.com. LSU's in great shape with Lamar Brown. Of course, a lot of people are going to be wondering about Dylan Moses' little brother. Of course, Jay Nosberry this year. And that's another point about looking at the state of Louisiana for this class, the class of 2023, and how there's some positions with not a whole lot of numbers. And then when there are numbers, LSU's really not in the thick of it for them, whether it's the two elite quarterbacks at the top, Arch Manning, Eli Holstein, and then your linebackers, Tackett Curtis and Jay Nosberry. The thought is that both those two guys are going to leave the state. And then you've got the probably your number one safety in the state at Westgate that LSU is going to fight Alabama and others for. So a lot of offers in state, but I do a lot of offers out of state, and I do think that the caliber of this first Brian Kelly recruiting class is going to be based on how well he's able to do out of state, just because there's not a whole lot of guys at each of those positions. Dale Broussard, which comes first? Brian Kelly goes to the college football playoff, or Jay Johnson goes to Omaha? Man, I might lean towards Jay Johnson to Omaha, just because of what he can do in a hurry. I mean, look how close they were this year with absolutely no pitching. When you really look at that pitching staff and what he had to do each and every game to get those guys within an inning away from hosting a super regional, finished fourth in the SEC with absolutely no pitching. And I think that shows you the type of coach he is, how dangerous he's going to be when he gets all the talent that he wants at all the right positions. Justin Saunier, in your opinion, who is going to start at quarterback? I really think it's up in the air. I tend to lean Jaden Daniels, but I could change my mind and be Miles Brennan tomorrow, and I could be Garrett Nussmeier on Friday. Is that a good thing or is it a bad thing? The fact that you've got a bunch of guys that you can pick apart and say this one doesn't do this very well, that one does it better. Do you have a bunch of guys who are just average? Is there somebody in that group that can be above average or separate themselves? That's the question. So, and what kind of quarterback play do you need to reach expectations? If your expectations are 8-4, 7-5, can you get away with having a very good defense with a strong defensive line and an improved running game and an improved offensive line and a quarterback that doesn't hurt you? Or in order to get to 8-4, do you have a quarterback that can, if you're down 2 scores in the second half, can get it done and lead you from behind? Going to have to wait and see on that. Marcus Stewart, Dante Moore. Yeah, I had an update on that yesterday. Been on the phone with a lot of people around the country about Dante Moore in the last 24 hours. And obviously, five-star quarterback from Detroit. And the scuttlebutt that I was getting early yesterday from multiple sources is that Notre Dame is going to take a 2024 quarterback tomorrow night in Carr, also from Michigan. And that they're no longer in it for Dante Moore. And I think LSU is securely in the driver's seat for him. I really believe that. Now, A&M might try and become a factor in there, but I think what you're about to start seeing is the dominoes fall at the quarterback spot nationally. Jaden Rashada is going to go down on the 18th. Is that Florida? Is that A&M? You know, a month to 6 weeks ago, a lot of people thought he was all Oregon. Now Napier is made a move for him. So obviously Eli Holstein to Alabama. A lot of people believe Arch Manning will go to Texas over Georgia. And then Ricky Collins is getting courted by everybody. Florida State official visit. I'm sure the Purdue staff pretty much knows they're going to have a very difficult time holding on to Ricky Collins. But I like where LSU sits for Dante Moore right now. The thing about Dante, if you haven't noticed, is he doesn't do any interviews. I'd have to go back and dig to see the last time somebody had an in-depth interview with him or quotes. A lot of stuff we get from him is from people around the periphery of him. And so, but I know he had a fantastic visit to LSU. And I'll tell you this much too. I believe Joe Sloan has done a fantastic job, not only with him, but with all the other quarterbacks. Look at LSU's class of 2024 quarterback board and the interest that he is getting from those guys. And certainly Denbrock is your offensive coordinator, but when it comes to being out there courting and beating the bushes for quarterbacks, Joe Sloan is doing a heck of a job. So he had two very good ones on Sunday there and a couple others to watch out for participating at camp. And then, but I'm going to be real curious to see who he has coming in for the elite camp next week, 2 days of elite camp. I think that's going to be there's going to be even more guys there that show up for that one. Let me scroll up, guys, and get to some of you guys. Kenny Fudge, good evening, Mike. Glad to have you with us, Kenny. And I just saw your question on Dante Moore. I hope I got that for you. Brian Bonzo Madeir, Buddy, seen at the pizza place tonight with Coop. All right. Blaine Smith, we need to get at least 4 corners in the next few classes. What are the positions you feel we need to address immediately in this class? DB in a big way, and that's another position where I don't know if I'm going too far by saying that the state of Louisiana for the class of 23 could be the worst I've seen. I think part of it is maybe looking at it from an LSU point of view, because you can look at the class of 23 and maybe say by average star ranking and the numbers it might sign with D1, it might be about what it usually is. But I think some of that is going to be skewed by having 2 quarterbacks at the top. And, of course, LSU is not a factor with either one of them. But what is staggering to me is the lack of athletes in the state of Louisiana for the class of 2024. And when I've been out and talking to college coaches and running into them at different spots, and I say that, and they say, yeah, you can say that, but I can't. And they all agree with me. When I talk about the athlete position, I'm talking about your corners, your safeties, and your wide receivers. Those numbers across the board in this class are a lot lower than you would ever see. Jordan Matthews at Woodlawn, offer from the previous staff has not been reoffered by Brian Kelly. What's going on with Colin Jackson at Zachary? That's been awful quiet. Got Derek Williams, of course, at Westgate. Everybody covets him, but he's the one safety. 3 defensive backs committed right now, all of them from out of state. Curly Reed at Lake Charles Prep coming off an injury. Not hearing much play with him. And then at wide receiver, you've got Shelton Sampson and Kai Preen, and I think on the last show I mentioned that Preen might be having a Malik Neighbors problem. I'm told that's going to get resolved, and he probably is going to be ruled eligible, but it won't be finalized and it won't be known until August. Everybody seems to be very upbeat that he will indeed be able to play for St. James this fall. Of course, transferred there from Ascension Catholic. But usually there's more receivers than that. Of course, Amaria Miller decommitted, and we'll see what happens there. I don't know. I just think the numbers really look down to me. No defensive tackles, no defensive ends, 2 linebackers that might go out of state. Where are the other linebackers? It really is. And then when you start saying who are the guys out there that could get an offer, that are on the cusp of getting an offer. All last year we talked about Jordan Allen. I didn't know that Jordan Allen would get an offer late. I'm glad he did. I always say David Jones at Madison Prep is maybe the guy that could be that late offer. And now that you've basically have to get to 85, is there going to be more guys like that have an opportunity late in the recruiting process, or does this staff go hog wild and really get to pull nationally some unbelievable numbers of kids? And then what is that transfer portal number going to look like? Is it going to be darn close to what your actual high school signing class is going to be? It's going to be interesting to see how Brian Kelly and Brian Polian and the whole staff manage that roster in the next year, considering all the numbers and what's missing in the state of Louisiana. Frank Wilson is the only coach on the staff that can meet all of his needs at his position in the state of Louisiana. Everybody else has to recruit fantastically out of state. Chance Babb and Jay Johnson will bounce back next year. Super class and portal. I agree. Justin Saunier, offensive coordinator, seems to love mobile quarterbacks. Yeah, and I don't know that he's any different than anybody else. And that's why I tend to think, even though I think Jaden Daniels of the 4 quarterbacks is your least accurate thrower, although he's a gamer. I tend to think because he's mobile and he's got experience, he might get the opportunity to go first. But, how quickly does a quarterback, whoever it is that gets a start, if they falter, I mean, that hook could be very, very quick, I think. Blaine Smith says, and that's why Brennan may not start. Jake Nola, Mike, how close is LSU to being left in the dust with NIL? I don't believe that at all. And I'll tell you what else I think. I think that no matter what the NIL number is going to be every year, do you think there's any coaching staff, whether it be at a Gridiron Club meeting, Capillary Tigers, whatever it's called, any tour stops, any speaking engagement, that they're going to say, yeah, we've got it all covered. We've got more than enough. They're never going to say they've got what they need. That number is never going to be enough. They're always going to be saying doesn't it make sense that they're always going to say we don't have enough. We need more. And they might need more right now, but I do think, look, I've heard some numbers for Dante Moore, and I think LSU has been very much in line for him for several months now. If the numbers that I've heard are accurate, and I've had several sources say that what I'm hearing is definitely in the ballpark, I don't see where LSU is going to have those issues. You just don't want to have a deal where you're talking about like Danny Lewis, where the number was supposedly $25,000, and you didn't have a way to get that done if that was indeed accurate. I don't think that problem is going to take place. Orgeron thinks they get more, just saying. Oregon, not Orgeron. Yeah, I don't know that. I don't know that I believe that. Kenny Futch, yes, Mike, you did. Notre Dame was the only school I feared would snag more. Jerry Zimmerman, need linebackers. Yep. And where are they going to get them from? I think Matt House is gonna be able to pull some guys. Kylan is on the DBU graphic I just saw from Doherty. And yeah, I looked at that, but I didn't really scrutinize that whole list. And who made that graphic? Blaine Smith. Shelton Sampson is a huge target for LSU. We need him. Took a photo of him. He was out at camp. He wasn't participating on Sunday. He's put on some weight. I don't know if you saw the picture that I put on our message board. He told me he was 205 right now, and he looks it. He has absolutely put on some size, and he looks good. He didn't participate in the spring game because I know there was some hamstring or maybe growing, but he said he's 100% now, so we'll see. Doug knows Florida is throwing the house at Rashada. That's the word I'm getting. They appear to be in the driver's seat. Curly from Lake Charles Prep and Jordan Matthews are must-gets. I am told that Jordan Matthews turned some heads in spring. They had that one hosted Warren Easton, and I'm told that some coaches that either saw him there or even before then thought that he had a productive spring. So, but as of now, he has not been reoffered by LSU, and I'm not hearing anything about this staff and Curly Reed either. So, Blaine Smith, come on, Mike. The talent is all over the state, not elite, but talented. Well, when I'm talking about for LSU's needs, the numbers aren't there. That doesn't mean that the total D1 haul for the state of Louisiana is not going to look about right. But there's even on offensive line, there's a couple of guys that, you know, whether they have offers or not, that people saw in the spring and say, no way LSU should take that particular guy. We're going to see how it all plays out. The state is great for next year. It was great last year, but this year does not look like it measures up. Too many positions with holes. All right. Gordon stepping up with NIL. Yeah, but he's not the only one. There's a lot of business people out there that are stepping up, and a lot of them just are not ringing the bell or saying, look at me, and I'm not faulting Gordon for that. If you're going to spend NIL money as a business owner, then it behooves you, whether you're using them for, I mean, if you're paying an NIL deal to a player, then you're using them for marketing. You know, get them on your billboards, get them on commercials, use them. But Gordon is certainly making sure that he's getting his NIL money worth, and good for him. Predictions for this year. I'm in the 7-5, 8-4 camp. I might be leaning 8-4 right now. Just want to see. I want to see them get through August camp and what the injury situation looks like. I think everybody will probably snap in line at 8-4. Maybe Glenn Gilbo will be at 7-5. Kenny Futz, Shelton Sampson, LSU is gaining a lot of steam. Yeah, LSU really highly covets him. Right here in town. Super kid, Catholic high school. That's one you cannot let get away. And believe me, he's been pinpointed all along. Felix Knuckley, Jay Downs is your starting quarterback. He has the most experience out of all the quarterbacks. He is only playing for 1 year, then off to the NFL as a first-round draft pick. Yeah, I don't know about all that. If he has a whale of a season, maybe so. But we'll see. Michael B., how's it going, everyone? Glad to have you, Michael B. LSU needs beef on the O-line, Dane Bergeron says, absolutely. And we're going to see how that all comes about this class. They're going to have to do it out of state, of course, And hearing some good things about Emory Jones already. He's only been on campus for a week, and I think he's going to push some people on that offensive line. Guys, we're here each and every week because of the fine folks at Pride Roofing, and got a new commercial from our buddies Mike and Alex. Let's take a watch real quick.
Hi, I'm Michael.
I'm Alex.
At Pride Roofing, we handle commercial and residential work.
TPO, shingle, and metal inventory. We got it.
Property still in disarray from the recent hurricanes and hailstorms. Insurance claims?
No problem. But you know Pride Roofing is the official roofer at TigerBait.com.
In fact, notify TigerBait and we'll give you a free roof inspection. And on top of that, you get a free year subscription. Call 855-PRIDE-16. Se habla Espanol.
There they are, Mike Faraday, Alex Martinez, Pride Roofing, the official roofing company of TigerBait.com. Anywhere in the state of Louisiana, southern Mississippi, give them a call. Mike called me this morning and said they're doing a huge job down in Morgan City. 18-wheeler full of materials on a big job down there. He's going to be spending a couple of days there. And so it doesn't matter where you are in the state of Louisiana, they will come to you. They were out in Alexandria a couple of weeks ago with that hail damage. If you have any of that, give them a call, 855-PRIDE-16. Please tell them you heard about them right here on TigerBait.com. And if you do that and you're not a subscriber of TigerBait, they're going to pay for you to get TigerBait free for 1 year. And so that's an excellent deal, and they're paying for it. And so we thank Mike and Alex for being a part of the show. Of course, Mike, an LSU grad. He was actually at the regional this weekend and watching LSU in Hattiesburg, and he's still kind of upset about the way that regional ended up. But, of course, Broadmoor High grad, LSU High grad, and you're absolutely doing business with local people. And, of course, A-plus rating with the Better Business Bureau, and based right there in Albany, Louisiana. No better people than Pride Roofing. All right, guys, let me get to some more of your comments. Brandon Reese says 8-4, 9-3. Yeah, I don't know that I'm going to 9-3, but I will say this: whether it's 9-3, 8-4, 7-5, you know, what are the chances that the difference between a couple of games is going to be some games that go either way? A field goal, less than one score. There's some games on that schedule where you're just like, LSU can win that one. LSU can lose that one. And there's a handful of those. And that can make the difference in the season. But LSU takes care of business in that first game against Florida State. And they've got some weeks to iron some things out, get some confidence, get that offensive line gelling. They could absolutely get on a roll. And, there's a lot of teams on that schedule that have their own problems. Auburn ain't exactly on firm ground. You guys know I'm not buying Texas A&M. Alabama's Alabama. But Ole Miss is going to score points. That's what they do. Arkansas is going to be tough. You get Tennessee at home. It's going to be some interesting games in there that can be the difference between going as high as 9-3 or being there at 7-5. So if Vegas is still offering that 6.5, you definitely take the over. I'll tell you that much. Let's see. Michael B., if it was any indication on how Woodward has dealt with coaching searches and hires, then how organized Brian Kelly is, how could you think they would have plans for NIL and how to make it work for us? Yeah, I don't buy that either. That some people still think they're behind. I don't see that. But I will tell you this. They're never going to say we've got it covered and we've got all the money we need for NIL. Every coaching staff in America is going to pour mouth every year. You certainly want your alumni and your local business owners to think that you're getting left in the dust so that you can do your job and make sure you're not losing players. I'm not saying they got everything they want right now, but they're not being left in the dust. Adam Ahmed, hey Mike, I'm in. Glad to have you with us, Adam. BK Takeover may have to get some big boys from the Midwest. Well, that's where they're at. Look at the NFL and when they chart where the majority of offensive linemen come from in the nation, Midwest. And when Brian Kelly got hired, that immediately sent a signal about how LSU is serious about offensive linemen. That is no longer a question mark for recruits around the country. And then when they meet Brad Davis, and these current offensive linemen absolutely love him. I can tell you that right now. What does it say about Brad Davis? A guy whose emphasis is offensive lineman, the position that he's going to pay attention to a good part of every practice, prides himself on a power running game, that he comes in because he's got definite opinions about who he knows are good offensive line coaches. He comes in here in December, didn't know who Brad Davis was, sees the way he operates, talks to him, gets to see him coach up for bowl practices, and decides to keep him. He wasn't obligated to keep him. Yeah, I mean, he could have told Woodward, "No, man, I'm not. You're gonna have to eat that $3 million. I know you just hired him. I'm sorry for it, but to me, that was very telling about Brad Davis, and I think he's absolutely one of the big success stories, or feel good stories, or however you want to frame it. Coach Davis, the Baton Rouge native, walk on in Oklahoma. His path to getting to where he got is that you can't draw it up any better than that. Doug knows Alabama is the only team on the schedule with better talent. Ole Miss with Kevin can beat anyone on any given day. I'm rolling with 10 wins. Whoa, okay. If Brian Kelly gets to 9 wins, he's coach of the year. I'll say that. And there's a chance at 8-4, and maybe one of them's you have a hard loss in there that is the difference between 8-4 and 9-3. I think this fan base will absolutely be excited, especially if you see what he's about to sign in December, and all the other kids that you've seen come in for weekend visits throughout the football season. I think there's going to be a lot of excitement in Baton Rouge in the fall. Just watching the way he goes about business, the building of it. You're going to have to find some satisfaction in the building of it and enjoy watching him do it. But who knows? Maybe they have an unbelievable year and take off like fire like they did at Michigan State with a bunch of transfers. As long as Brian Kelly and his staff are able to keep at least 95% of the in-state kids home, he will do good. That's going to be a tall order this year. We're talking about Arch Manning, Holstein, Jaden Osbury, Tackett Curtis, fight for your life for Derek Williams at Westgate. Those are just some of the guys right now. Ten wins is a standard. Yeah. Detrick Clark, it's refreshing having a coach like Brian Kelly. It's probably been most shows that Buddy and I have done each and every week where I've come in here and I just seem like I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. But watching the way he's conducted himself, the way the spring practices are organized, now being able to see a couple of camp days and how that's been organized, just the whole thing's impressive. I even enjoyed watching the gold cleats thing that they did last night. I was sharing that with several of a group text with some of my BFFs, and they were all wishing they would have went to that thing. And the coaches looked, they were having fun, and the ladies were having fun. And that looked like a great event last night that they raising money for cancer in the Bingo Bells. So I just think everything between those type of events, I think his tour stops probably could have been a little bit bigger. They didn't really promote those, but I think they probably didn't promote them because they were being held in walk-ons. I think going forward, those things need to be bigger and held in bigger venues next year, and less walk-ons forking over a ton of cash for those to be there. But yeah, I think every button they've touched so far. Now, I think some LSU fans might get antsy when you're sitting there in August and there's not 15 to 20 commitments like you're used to seeing. I think that could be. But maybe we're about to see a run here. You've got a big week of elite camp next week, more official visitors for the rest of the month. July goes dead. You got SEC football media days, and then things will open up back. I think you get a few days at the very end of July, and then football practices start. So, but then really, whether you have 15 or 18 commitments before Labor Day, what does that really mean in the age of NIL? And so I think there's a whole lot of uncharted territory we're at right now. I think regardless of whether you've got them all on the commitment list now or you're adding them in November and early December, everybody's going to be with their hair caught on fire, making a mad dash and loads of anxiety in the first 2 weeks of December because that's where all the NIL craziness and the soap opera is really going to take place. We're going to, you guys know it. I know it. There's the stories that we're going to hear in the message board chatter and Twitter, in the figures that we're going to be hearing. And this player got lost because Coach so-and-so pulled the rug out from underneath another coach, and some car dealership somewhere offered a kid crazy numbers. Who knows what we're about to see, but I do think it's going to be crazy. I know that. BK Takeover 2024 is more realistic to make a championship run. Doug knows you're not getting Manning, Holstein, Williams, Curtis, regardless of the staff. It never was happening. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. So if you take some of those guys out and you look at what are the likely names and the numbers of Louisiana kids that you're going to have in this class, just based on who you have committable offers out to right now, you can see where this class is going to need to be. Look, I've already said it. Where are your defensive tackles? Where are your defensive ends in Louisiana that have offers? Tight ends, 2 running backs, no quarterbacks, but that's okay. We're talking about LSU leading for Dante Moore right now. Linebackers, going to have to get that done out of state. DBs, you've already got 3 committed from out of state. I will say this, from a perception standpoint, of all the kids that we're talking about that LSU's going to have to fight for, or that we're talking about leaving to go out of state, the one that I think from a perception standpoint would be the one that hurts the most if he gets away would be Derek Williams from Westgate. Detrick Clark, the law change in Louisiana will definitely help LSU in recruiting. And how often are these laws going to keep getting amended and changed? Is this going to be an ongoing process every year where each state's tweaking their things? Did you see what Arizona did with their law? We need that. Is this going to be something that's going to be constantly amended from year to year? And that's why Sankey and others are wanting, maybe some congressional interaction. But when you do that, you're getting the federal government involved in the NCAA and antitrust, and boy, you're really, aren't they tax exempt? I mean, there's all sorts of stuff going on there. Yep, I got that one already. B Still, if the Louisiana kids would just stay home, LSU could be the next dynasty. I think there's some truth to that, B Still, but I also think that there's not a whole lot of kids. I think Derek Williams would be a blow, just like I think last year's class, losing Aaron Anderson was a blow. But it also depends on who you're replacing with. If you're not getting Eli Holstein or Arch Manning, but you're getting Dante Moore, does that Louisiana thing really matter? Look, we all want the homegrown kids. And I've said before, it makes it easier to hold on to them, to fight against the transfer portal, to fight against tampering if they're from here. I get it. There's just a changing landscape, and so we're going to have to see how this all plays out. What are the chances for Jaden Osbury, Kenny Futch? Visiting Auburn, I think Notre Dame is a big player there. Does he come to camp next week? How's that all going to play out? Is he going to do just like Austin and leave? Every bit of info I get on Jaden is that he's going to leave the state just like his brother. Dane Bergeron, you don't want the feds involved. They can't run the post office efficiently. I'm with you on that. I'm absolutely with you. I think the most powerful man in college football is Greg Sankey, and I think he needs to assert himself. And now with Texas and Oklahoma coming in, he can really do some flexing that can make all the other college football conferences and athletic directors and university presidents have to follow suit by what he decides. I really believe that. Guys, I want to talk to you about Tony Freeman, my dear friend with Assurance Financial. Nobody's better than her. Thinking of buying a new home, refinancing your current mortgage, but haven't found a lender you can trust? Let me tell you about Tony Freeman with Assurance Financial here in Baton Rouge. She's a dear friend of mine, someone who many of my friends have used for their mortgage needs repeatedly. Her knowledge and over 25 years of experience in the mortgage industry is unsurpassed. She offers a wide range of knowledge of home loan products, whether you're a first-time home buyer ready to buy a new home or you just want to explore your refinance options. Tony can guide you through your next mortgage experience. You can feel confident you're making the best financial decision with Tony as your guide. Not only is Tony a huge LSU fan, but Assurance Financial is a proud partner of LSU Athletics. Call Tony today, 225-239-7150. Again, that's 225-239-7150. And tell her you heard about her from TigerBait.com. NMLS number 104765, Equal Housing Opportunity 70876. And guys, you all see the Fed raising interest rates, inflation on homes, and even though that's taking place, it's people are still out buying. They've got to move. I had 3 houses on my street alone in the last month that all sold quick. Job takes you somewhere, you make big money on your house, but then you're going to pay more. But Tony is absolutely the person you want to call. She's going to get you the best rate. She's going to get all your paperwork in order. She's going to get you closed quicker than anybody else. She is the absolute best. You guys are probably like me. You got real estate agent friends hanging on you. You know a bunch of mortgage people. But if you don't, or you don't want to use somebody that you know, because they're going to be pulling your credit report and all that, I get it. Tony's who you want to use. She is the absolute best. Michael B. Yeah, the days of Louisiana kids staying in Louisiana for state pride has sailed. Like I saw what Kiffin has said in an interview that brought up a good point. A kid we had been recruiting for years and a lock went. Yeah, I mean, that's – look, what have we seen over the years? There were several recruits with Orgeron. There were a bunch of recruits with Les Miles. Where and then there were times where they absolutely got beat. They recruited the wrong parent. They weren't at the school as much as the other guy. That did happen too. But there's been a lot of instances over the years where LSU, no one recruited a kid better than LSU did, and then somebody from the 985 came in who drives kids to and from a certain other southern state, was taking care of business, and you know who I'm talking about. Well, those days are numbered. So, but now it's all up on the table. It's all out right in front of you. And so your assistant coach on your staff could have the best relationship with the mom and the dad, could have made the most trips to the high school, could have seen them more in person, could have been the first one to know that Aunt Emma had a birthday and wished her a happy birthday. You could have all those ducks in a row and done a better job than anybody. And then some school's going to come in with an NIL deal that blows you out of the water. And this family, is hanging on tight in the middle class, and it's life-altering money just to go to college. And so you can see how that stuff can happen. Kenny Futch, changing gears. I like how well-conditioned the team looks. Championships are one in the rate room. Absolutely. When I walked in the fence on Sunday, I saw the quarterbacks walking across the field, Daniels, Nussmeier, Miles, and Walker Howard, and they were holding balls like this, 2-pound balls. They were like fluorescent green. They were, come to find out, I learned they were like 2-pound balls, and they walk across the field and they come backwards. They don't turn around and walk back. They go forward, backwards, and they do that so many times holding 2-pound balls like this. And I don't know if they rotate or they do something, but I didn't get a chance to talk to Walker, but I did see him, and I'm told he might be like 198 right now. But they all look good. I've seen a lot of the players were mingling around during camp, and they all look exceptional right now. Brandon Reese, it'll be interesting to see what the defense will look like. I think Coach Kane's has a whale of a defensive line. I think Jaquelin Roy's about to have a breakout year. We know Mason Smith is an absolute beast. Ali Gay is going to be another year mature. And B.J. Ojolari, I think, is going to have a big year. I'm hearing big things about Savion Jones ready to rotate in and do big things. Coach Valdez, who's now at Grambling, was his coach at St. James and was telling me some stuff because he was out there at camp. And I think Quincy Wiggins might get a little bit more than, is he a guy that you only see for 4 games, or is he a guy that they're rotating in? That's going to be interesting to see. But I think you're going to have a very much improved defensive line. I think you've got some very good linebackers there. Mike Jones is going to be very good. If they stay healthy, you've got more than enough at the linebacker spot. The biggest question mark, even though you had a lot of infusion of transfers, is going to be defensive backs. And I think there, if you can avoid the injury bug, you've got some guys there that can do some big things. We didn't get to see Bernard Converse in spring. He's one of the guys that I want to be hearing about throughout the summer, about how, who's looking good in individual workouts. I sure would like to hear Bernard Converse's name getting thrown out there a good bit as the summer progresses. Yep. Michael B., I love our new staff. They seem really hungry. Our old staff was littered with great coaches. I just think they had been there too long and lost that hunger, that fire in their belly. I think change was good, and I also think change was good inside as well. That whole building needed a refreshed coat of paint, so to speak, and a new way of doing things. Ever since Saban left, there's just been a rollover, maintaining, keeping people, keeping processes in place, adopting the previous staff stuff, adopting the previous staff's staff. And I'm not just talking about position coaches, I'm talking about inside the building people. And then what does that result in? That results in lawsuits and all the stuff that we've seen. I think had they cleaned house many years ago, none of that stuff would have happened. And look, it's the nature of the business. There's a reason why these guys make position coaches are making $600,000 to $800,000 a year right now, because you're not meant to be anywhere for a decade or 20 years. That's just very rare. Let's see here, guys. Yeah, Converse and Banks, BK takeover. Andy Whitaker, if they ban these collectives boosts from buying players, I think NIL will hardly be a factor in recruiting. I'm going to be very interested to see what rules and parameters they come up with for NIL. But there's also a whole lot of it now that's the genie's out of the bottle, and believe me, there's going to be some things out there that they try to do that they're going to get tested in court on. You're going to see some lawsuits because now this is full-blown capitalism, and if you try and rein some of this stuff in, good luck with that. All right, guys, go to TigerBait, subscribe. We've got a lot of recruiting stuff on our Tiger Den message board. We want to have you on board with us. We'll have some coverage of the 7-on-7 OLDL camp on Friday, and I've got a lot of stuff. I still got video from the last 2 camps that in the pipeline to get to up on the site, so you're going to want to check that out at tigerbait.com. By the way, YouTube, subscribe button, notification bell. And then from here, please go to TigerBait, subscribe, choose the annual package. You save money versus going monthly. We had a record day of new subscribers in the last yesterday. And so appreciate all you guys who are on board with us new. And I'll see you guys on our Tiger Den message board to answer any questions you want 7 days a week, day and night. So be back here next week. See y'all then. And I'll see you on the Tiger Den message board with all our camp reports and our live threads there. So, all right, guys, good night.